Hello and thank you for joining this WinCross tutorial. Today we will be covering the charting aspects of WinCross, including setting up the layout for your charts, the content that will go in those charts, and exporting them. To begin, we have already opened a WinCross job and data file using the example files located in the WinCross 13 example subfolder. So for our charting tutorial, the first step is to actually run the tables from which you want to produce the charts. To do this, we would choose Run Tables, and we will just pick a handful of tables to run against our banner. Here we can see our output. I will make the screen a little bigger. Here is our chart output, number of hours of outdoor activities. Having run our tables, there are two other prerequisites for creating a chart. These both exist under the Setup menu, where we have Setup Chart Style and Setup Chart Content. If we look first at Setup Chart Style, we can see here we define some of the aesthetics for the chart. We have a Tables tab, where we can set font and whether or not to include filter rows. Justification is shown as well on this page. We have a Chart Area tab where we can set borders, backgrounds, and font colors. We have an Axes tab where we can control the axis for X, Y, and Z. And we have a Legend tab where you can control the legend or key for your table. All of these variables can be saved using the Save Chart Style As button at the bottom of this window. This allows you to save your layout either by client or overall for any project and use this by loading the file in the future. The second and key component to setting up charts is in the Setup Chart Content tab. Clicking on this, we are presented with a chart content window. Here are the tables for the report that I just ran. I have Banner 1 and I have run a total of 6 different tables. For each of these, I have the option to create a chart or not create a chart. I am going to choose to create a chart only off one of my tables, removing the other tables from which I do not wish to make charts. Now that I've picked my table, I have to choose which rows in that table I want to include in the chart data. For this chart, I do not want to show our net rows, so I'm going to hide the agree and disagree subnets. Next, we go to data selection. This is the columns from the banner that I want to include in the chart. Here I'm going to select only male and female. There's also a very important tab on this page for data to use for charts. This is where we can set what type of data we want in the chart. Do we want our frequencies, our vertical percents, our horizontal percents, our constant percents, or the row means? For this particular table, I want the actual raw numbers, so I'm going to use the frequencies. The third tab over is where we select the chart type, and this should look familiar from any application, Excel, PowerPoint, etc., where we can choose whether we want a bar chart, a line chart, pie, etc. And there's also another important tab on here where we choose which order we want the data presented as. Do we want the row data for the x-axis or the column data for the x-axis? For this example, we will use the row data. Finally, we have the Chart Style tab. If you had saved a chart style file, as we covered in the first tab of Chart Style, you can load the file from here. In addition to saving and loading the chart styles, you can also save and load the chart content. Saving chart content allows you to reuse the chart settings between tab runs. To do this, simply load your chart content, including options, column text, and row text, omitting the data selection. This will allow you to easily reuse your chart layout for wave studies and other projects where additional data collection is required. Clicking OK on that, we now have set up the groundwork for our charts, and we can actually run the charts. You can do this either through the Run Charts menu or by clicking on the chart icon on the right-hand side. I click on Run Charts. Now I've only set up one chart for this study, so I have only one item in this list. I click on the chart I wish to run, and I must choose an output now. In the lower left pane, we can see I have the option to do Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, or Word. I may do any or all of these. I will do Microsoft Excel for this example, and I would choose OK. I'm prompted for a name of our Excel file. Since I chose a file that already existed, I'm prompted, do I want to append or replace the Excel file? If I choose append, I will actually add a new worksheet to the existing workbook. The same will happen with Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. Word will add a new page. PowerPoint will be adding a new PowerPoint slide. For this example, I would choose to replace. And now in Excel, let me shrink this window down for you. We have our chart. And you can see this is an actual Excel chart. Behind it, if you ever need to see behind, the actual data is pulled into Excel. So we have the ability here, this isn't just a graphical chart, we have the ability to do any of the Excel functions with the chart, as far as adding data labels, adding a data table at the bottom, adding axes titles, whatever we need to do. And there you have it. I know this was a brief introduction to WinCross Charting, but hopefully it gave you an idea of the components of the charting and the capabilities that WinCross offers. Thank you for viewing. Please visit our website, www.analyticalgroup.com, for more details.